Alrighty, folks, happy Saturday to you, and we'll get to our viewer shout-outs for part two in just a moment. Got some new, fresh shout-outs for you. But I'll tell you what, still Fritty. I'm still Fritty, and I'm still feeling pretty good on a Saturday. Because I am now 4-0 my last four chairman plays on my website. Like I said in my earlier video, we did cash in on the Tampa Bay Rays, getting the job done for some money line cash. Took that one 15-4. After getting down 4 runs early in the game, they actually ripped off 15 unanswered runs. They had a huge 8th inning, scored 8 runs in that one. That's where they did most of their damage. And tell you, that win, that was just icing on the cake for another winning day. We cashed in on the Rays, the Dodgers, and the Giants on my website yesterday. And if you wish you could have accessed all of those winners, well, the only way you could have done that is to be a chairman member on my website. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video, part 2 here today for Saturday, July 1st, 2023. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to your weekend. I know a lot of you folks are having an extended, very long 4th of July weekend, so I'm sure you got your drinking started off last night. Might be feeling a little banged up today. But anyway, folks, my name is Brock Page, and I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, folks, I'm 4-0 my last 4 chairman plays on my website. Now, the chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. And speaking of the chairman podcast, you can actually access that right here on YouTube as well. My chairman podcast is available to my YouTube channel members, and you'll receive all my personal plays right here on YouTube if you sign up for that membership. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is I actually share with you which one of these free plays on these videos that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, let's go ahead and get into some shout outs for part 2. Shout out to Jet CLN, who said, "It's a great show. I watch every day." Also want to give a shout out to Montana Clayton, who said, "Great stuff, Brock." And finally, want to give a shout out to my guy, Frederick Jackson, who said, "Your predictions don't be accurate." And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into our part 2 free plays. We're going to start off with the Brewers at the Pirates, 4:05 Eastern first pitch in the Steel City. Now, Milwaukee's minus $1.35 away at PNC Park, totals 8 runs. Corbin Burns for Milwaukee, Johan Oviedo for Pittsburgh. And despite his current record, Ovi's been a pretty good strikeout guy. He's fanned 80 batters and 88 plus. Now, as a team, the Buccos are on a 4-game winning streak and actually scored 29 total runs during that short stretch. So doing pretty good offensively over the past few days or so. They definitely needed that because they had struggled in the month of June at the dish. Now, Jack Sawinski, he leads the roster in home runs. Carlos Santana's got the most RBI for the Pirates. They're facing Corbin Burns on the mound, who's got a handful of losses and an ERA in the 4s. Now, these Milwaukee hitters this year, they've been pitiful. They average a National League worst 7.4 hits per game. Tyrone Taylor is still out for the Brewers. Hayes and Reynolds inactive for Pittsburgh. 8 out of the Buccos' last 11 divisional games at PNC Park fell under the total. Milwaukee's 12-5 to the under against the NL Central. Give me Pittsburgh plus 1.5, under 8. Next ball game, Twins, O's, 4:05 East. Baltimore's minus $1.45, totals 8.5. Kyle Bradish for Baltimore, Bailey Ober for Minnesota. And as good as Ober's been, and don't get me wrong, uh, he's had electric stuff this year, but the Twins just don't want to win for the guy. He's got just 4 wins on the season, which is a crime, and he doesn't have a winning record at the moment. Now, the Twins also took the loss in 4 out of Ober's last 7 starts, and they averaged under 3 runs a game during that span. That's where the problem lies. It ain't with Ober, it's with these hitters. And it really, shouldn't come as much of a surprise. These Twins batters are striking out a despicable 10.6 times a game on the road. They're averaging nearly 11 strikeouts a game in the box when they travel. They're facing Kyle Bradish, who's recorded only 3 losses through 72 innings of work. The righty's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.19 whip. And even if Bradish struggles here today, Baltimore's got a top 10 run producing lineup, so they have no issues getting base runners. Austin Hayes has the 4th highest batting average in the big leagues. Adley Rutschman's got 11 home runs and leads the team in walks. I think he's been walked over 50 times this year. Now, McCann and Mountcastle are out for the O's. Gordon and Polanco inactive for Minnesota. The Twins saw 5 out of their last 7 on the road stay under the total. They've also averaged just 3.9 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the O's. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. And in those very ball games I just mentioned, those head-to-head meetings, the under cashed in 60% of those contests. Give me Baltimore minus 145, under 8.5. Next contest, Nats, Phils, 405 East. Philadelphia's minus 210 at Citizens Bank Park, totals 8.5. Zach Wheeler for Philadelphia, Mackenzie Gore for Washington. Now, Gore's got a whole bunch of strikeouts this season. He's struck out 104 hitters, and he has an ERA in the 3s. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Nats are a top 10 hit-producing team on the road. Lane Thomas, he's currently a top 10 batting average guy in the majors. He's also got 14 home runs and 43 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Jeimer Candelario, he's right behind him with 38 ribbies and 137 total bases. Now, the Nats are facing a Philly team who's had a tough time covering the run line recently. They failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 at home. And in all of their divisional home games this season, the Phils cashed in on the run line in just 22% of those matchups. Now, these Phils hitters are striking out 9.1 times a game at the dish. 5 out of Philly's last 6 at the bank stayed under the total. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Washington 70% to the under in their divisional road games. Give me the Nationals plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, White Sox, A's, 407 East. Chicago's 220, totals 8.5. Dylan Cease for Chicago. Kyle Muller possible for Oakland. And if Muller does end up throwing out the first pitch, he's been awful this year. He's got just 1 win through 47 innings of work. He's also got himself a pathetic 8.08 ERA. And for those who don't follow baseball much, the A's currently have the worst record in the game, and they score the fewest amount of runs. Now they're facing Dylan Cease on the mound for Chicago, and he's got 110 strikeouts. Now, out of 91-plus innings of work, the righty Cease, he's recorded only 3 losses. And speaking of strikeouts, these Chicago pitchers, they fan more batters per 9 than any other team in the league right now. Now, injury-wise, Moncada and Gonzalez are out for Chicago. Laureano and Smith inactive for Oakland. The A's are 24-18 to the under in the Coliseum. Chicago's 60% to the under against American League opponents on the road. Give me the White Sox minus 1.5 and the under 8.5 runs in the tight window. Next ball game, Marlins Braves, 4:10 p.m. East. Atlanta's minus 165, totals 9. Charlie Morton for Atlanta, Yuri Perez for Miami. Now Perez comes into today's start with just 1 loss on the season and an ERA of 1.34. Now these Miami hitters also have the 5th highest team batting average in the bigs. Luis Ariz, he hits a league best 390 at the plate. Jorge Soler's 5th in the bigs in home runs. Now they're facing Charlie Morton, who's got 6 losses on the season and a sloppy 1.48 whip. Now, the Braves also failed to cash in on the run line in 3 out of their last 5 at Truist Park. Now, injury-wise, Yuli Gurriel is questionable for the Marlins. 6 out of the Fish last 10 stayed under the total. 3 out of Atlanta's last 5 home games fell under themselves. Give me the Marlins plus 1.5, under 9. Next contest, Giants-Mets, 4:10 Eastern first pitch. The New York Mets are minus 145, totals 8.5. Justin Verlander for New York, Anthony DeSclafani for San Francisco. And despite a lackluster ERA, Anthony's got a handful of wins and a pretty decent 1.20 whip. But most dangerous is this San Francisco lineup on the road. These guys are a top 5 run-producing team while traveling. Thairo Estrada's the club leader in hits. J.D. Davis has the most RBI. They're facing Justin Verlander, who's recorded only 2 wins through 57 innings of work. Meanwhile, as a team, the Mets are on a 3-game skid, and they recorded just 3 wins in their last 13 ball games. And for some reason, well, these guys just don't hit at Citi Field. They don't give their home fans much to cheer about. They're averaging under 7.3 hits a game in Flushing, Queens. Now, New York saw their last 5 straight at home stay under the total. No real surprise there. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Giants, on the other side, they saw their last 4 straight on the road fall under the total. Give me San Francisco plus 1.5, under 8.5. Next game, Guardians-Cubs, 7:15 Eastern first pitch. Chicago's minus $1.35 at Wrigley, totals 8. Marcus Stroman for Chicago, Tanner Bybee for Cleveland. And even though Bybee's got some pretty decent numbers, his whip has climbed up to a 1.30. The Guardians also can't score for shit. They're a bottom 5 run-producing team right now. They also don't hit for power. The Guardians are dead last in the league in homers per contest. They're facing Marcus Stroman on the mound for Chicago, and he's been solid. Stroman's 9-5 on the year with an ERA of 2.47. Now, these Chicago pitchers have done a real nice job keeping the ball down. They're in the top 3 in the bigs in fewest home runs allowed, so don't look for Cleveland to put on a home run derby here today. Now, injury-wise, Seiya Suzuki's questionable for the Cubs. 7 out of Chicago's last 10 ball games stayed under the total. They're also 8-5 to the under in their interleague home games. Give me the Cubs minus 135, under 8. Next ball game, it is going to be Dodgers at the Royals, 7:15 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 230, totals 9.5. Julio Urias for Los Angeles, Daniel Lynch for Kansas City. Now, don't let Daniel Lynch's ERA fool you. The Royals just don't want to win for this guy. He's got only 1 win through 36-plus innings. And out of Lynch's last 6 starts, the Royals have averaged under 2.6 runs a game during that time frame. And, that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Out of 42 total contests at Kauffman Stadium this year, the Royals got the W only 11 times. Now, they're facing Julio Urias, who's got a handful of wins and a 1.16 whip. And I see his upside only continuing to get higher here, going into the second half of the season. Now, the Dodgers can pretty much outscore anyone offensively. They're a top 3 run-producing team on the road. Of course, Freddie Freeman's in the top 3 in the National League, both batting average and OPS. Meanwhile, J.D. Martinez, he's in the top 10 in the entire league in home runs and RBI. Chris Taylor's still out for the Dodgers. Michael Massey's inactive for KC. 6 out of Kansas City's last 10 outings did get over the total. Meanwhile, the Dodgers went 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me LA minus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. The next ball game, it is going to be, actually, I was already on it, Yankees-Cardinals game 2, and that'll be a 7:15 Eastern start time. Now, game 2 is currently off the board. It looks like Matthew Liberatore possible for St. Louis. Maybe Wandy Peralta for New York. Not really sure who's going to get the nod for either team in Game 2, but that's what it's looking like. Looks like we're going to see Liberatore versus Peralta. And I'll tell you what, if Peralta does throw out the first pitch for the Bombers, he does give these guys a chance to win. He's got only one loss through 31 plus. He also has an ERA in the twos. And contrary to my analysis for game one, that was actually in our original part one video, the Yankees aren't completely helpless. And as a matter of fact, these guys did get the W in 4 out of their last 5 ball games, and they averaged 7 runs a game in those victories. Now, it does look like they're facing Matthew Liberatore, who's got just 1 win on this season with an ERA of 5.60. Of course, as a team, the Cards lost 4 out of their last 6 themselves, and they've really struggled with American League opponents. Out of 14 interleague home games this year, the Redbirds got the W only 5 times. Give me the Yankees getting the job done for some moneyline cash in Game 2. Next matchup, Rays, Mariners, 7:15 East. Tampa Bay is minus $1.20, total 7.5. Tyler Glasnow for Tampa Bay, George Kirby for Seattle. Despite having a good ERA and exceptional command, maybe the best command in the game right now, the M's just don't want to win for George Kirby. He's got 7 losses on the year somehow. That's a crime. And he's also got a losing record. It's a shame because he's had some really dynamic stuff. Now, out of Kirby's last 7 starts, the Mariners picked up the W only twice. It seems like a lineup problem and not a Kirby problem. And, well, most of that is due to, well, they're just not good enough at the plate. Seattle has the 3rd lowest team batting average in the box. And even worse, these guys are striking out more times a game at the dish than any other lineup in the AL West. Now they're going to have to face Tyler Glasnow, who's a big strikeout guy for Tampa. He's fanned 45 batters in just 30-plus innings. And even if Glasnow struggles, not many teams out-hit Tampa. They're a top 3 hit-producing franchise on the road. Yandy Diaz, he's in the top 10 in both batting average and OPS. The Randy Arozarena, he's got the 6th most RBI in the majors. Now, total-wise, 6 out of Tampa's last 10 meetings with Seattle did fall under the number. They held the M's to under 3.7 runs a game during that stretch. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Give me the Rays minus $1.20, under 7.5. All right, next contest, Tigers, Rockies, 9:10 p.m. East. This is another game that is off the board at the moment. Jeff Criswell's possibly making his debut for Colorado. Zach Logue may be making his season debut for the Tigers. And if Logue does get the start here today, the 27-year-old lefty, he's coming off a pretty forgettable inaugural season with Oakland last year. He pitched with Oakland in 2022, where he went just 3-8 with an ERA close to 7. Now, these Tiger batters also can't hit for shit. I almost say it in every video. The Tigers can't hit for shit. They have a lower team OPS average than any other lineup besides one. Now, they're possibly facing Jeff Criswell here today for Colorado, and he actually had 57 strikeouts in 58 innings of work at AAA Albuquerque. His biggest bugaboo has been walks, although he's a pretty good strikeout guy. He's also got one of the better home hitting teams in the National League behind him. The Rockies were actually a top 5 hit producing team on their own diamond. Randall Grichuk, he hits nearly 300 at the plate. Elias Diaz, he has the most RBI in the lineup. Now, McMahon and Rogers are still out for Colorado. Riley Green inactive for Detroit. Give me the Colorado Rockies getting the job done for some moneyline cash. And with that, folks, actually, Detroit made Austin Gomber look like Cy Young yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. Gomber looked really good against him, and he sucks. Anyway, next and final matchup, Diamondbacks Angels, 10:07 East. LA's minus $1.20 at home, totals 10. Tyler Anderson for the Angels, Ryan Nelson for Arizona. Now, the D-backs picked the W in 6 out of their last 9 Ryan Nelson starts. They averaged just about 5 runs a game during that span. Now, the D-backs have also done a real nice job offensively on the road. They average more runs a game away from home than any other lineup in the National League. Now, Christian Walker is the team leader in runs batted in. Ketel Marte leads the roster in hits. Now, they could have a field day with Tyler Anderson on the mound here today. The lefty's got an ERA of 5.54, along with a 1.54 whip. Both hitters are, one's a righty and the other is a switch hitter, so should take advantage of the lefty. Now, the Angels are on a 3-game skid, and they also took the loss in 7 out of their last 10. Now, Zach Neto's still out for Los Angeles. Corbin Carroll's still battling that neck injury for Arizona, plus Anderson's a lefty, so we might see Carroll take a breather here today. May not see him in the lineup. Now, Arizona's 23-16 of the over when they bat first. LA saw 9 out of their last 14 Tyler Anderson starts get over the total themselves. Give me the Diamondbacks plus $1 over 10. With that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Pirates plus 1.5 under 8. Orioles minus 145 under 8.5. Nationals plus 1.5 under 8 and a hook. White Sox minus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. Miami Marlins plus 1.5 under 9. Giants plus 1.5 under 8 and a hook. Chicago Cubs minus 135 under 8. LA Dodgers minus 1.5 over 9.5 runs. Give me the New York Yankees getting the job done for some money line cash in Game 2. Tampa Bay Rays minus $1.20 under 7.5. Colorado Rockies getting the job done for some money line cash. With my next and final free pick for the video, give me the Arizona Diamondbacks plus $1 over 10 runs. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just keep in mind you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. Now, if you want to access my Chairman podcast, it's a video that I make every day. It breaks down every single personal play of mine for that day. There's 2 ways you can access that. You can sign up for my Chairman membership on my website, or you can become a member right here on YouTube. I actually upload my Chairman podcast now right here to YouTube, but you have to be a member. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.